Alright, and welcome to List Doctor number 5. I am Matt, and with me today is
Jesse.
Alright, so the list that we're giving today is a Space Marine drop pod list. It's got drop pod Centurions, Tigerius, pretty standard thing. And then all the Tactical Marines there were 3 units of Tactical Marines, and all of them were 10-mans with a las cannon. So it was kind of interesting. So you can see here in my deployment, we're playing a Bay Area open mission. I don't actually recall which one it is. So it's got the modified Maelstrom, and then it's 4 points for the primary. So first blood seems real important. So I'm deploying here, and I have all my 3 las cannons up there on the hill. I combat squad everything, so I put a las cannon and 4 guys. And I deployed those 15 troops. Had them up front, made sure I had guys in front of them, and that was my deployment. Jesse, you kind of hunker back here in the corner a little bit for your deployment.
So I'm playing Wave Serpent. The gentleman who's listed is stated that he is preparing to take this list at LVO. So I took a list very similar to something like you would see Tony Kopak or Zach from Toget run, and it's just a lot of Wave Serpents. And yeah, it's exactly what I did. I put them in the back. I have my Warlord Wave Serpent is the red one. Those 4 in the middle are all Dire Avengers. I have double Fire Dragon Wave Serpents kind of out on the sides. That way there, when you come down, my Fire Dragons can pounce.
Yeah. And obviously my Legion Dam I'm kind of expecting to be clutch here. So first pod comes down. Obviously I'm bringing down Centurions. There's a Maelstrom, so you see it's 4 objectives for this one. There's 1 right there in the bottom center area, 1 in the bottom right ruin, 1 in the top center area, and 1 in the top left ruin. A very symmetrical board. So I'm bringing the sense in. I'm kind of making sure I'm close enough. That pod actually almost scattered off the board.
Yep.
Hit right at the edge. So I disembark my sense back and make sure I'm holding the objective. And then, they're here just to try to do something at this point. I'm just trying to put some hurting on somewhere. Draw my first blood. Would obviously have rather gotten the Warlord one. Jesse did a really good job protecting it, so I'm going to have to go for one of the Fire Dragon ones. Which is kind of better anyway. Get those Fire Dragons out in the open. I'm hoping for the Lascan, so at least... Honestly, I don't expect them to do much. It's turn 1, you're going to have your Serpent Shields up. I'm really expecting them to force you to jink, maybe.
We're also in Night Fight on turn 1, which is one of the big problems. Because, at that point, you can't really force me to jink. There's a ruin that's genuinely obscuring me. So we're sitting there and it's going, okay.
You could jink for a 2-up cover. So, could have gone for the 2-up.
It would have still only been a 3-up. Because I didn't move. So Hollow Fields don't trigger.
That's only on
and in this particular list, I actually decided not to take Hollow Fields because of that. Running into some issues with the Hollow Fields. So I took cannons instead.
Which I kind of like the cannons.
I did too. It's exactly what I expected. Space Marine drop pods, it's going to be that hard-hitting first blow.
So you saw that 1 pod in the middle. It does have some Blood Claws, or kind of your buddy pods. And the Blood Claws just hold 2 additional... psychers, and one of the things that the guy who submitted the list said that he normally does is he normally jumps the Blood Claws down close and then gets all the psychers and runs all the psychers in with a sense. So now the sense have 3 psychers, and the Blood Claws just help deliver them. So that's kind of what I'm trying to play it as here. I got my first blood, and I was able to pick off 2 of the Fire Dragons in the process. So now you're just kind of in the reposition plan. Now you did a really smart thing, keep the Wraith Knight in reserve. Why keep the Wraith Knight in reserve?
Basically kept the Wraith Knight in reserve because it gives me 2 turns that you have to commit your sense to a direction, and it allows my Wraith Knight to then drop down outside of 30 inches and try to keep my Wraith Knight outside of the Grav Sense. Because 3 Grav Sense even, they're going to punk a Wraith Knight.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to one around the Wraith Knight.
I had perfect timing. I had a lot of my psychic powers. I just barely failed to kill your Farseer here.
No, that's actually a little bit later. You chose not to shoot the Farseer because only 1 guy could see him right here.
Oh, you're right. It was the next try. I almost got it. So here's your patented shooting. You're just going to start clearing guys off the table.
Yeah, so at this point, I basically go, okay, I have to kill a unit, focus on killing the squads. This is the turn where the pain comes. I have yet to be able to deal with
I only got 1 Legion squad in. That 1 drop pod. I'm trying to get drop pods, OBSEC drop pods on objectives. That didn't really go well. I scattered off on pretty much everything. I was on there, and I was on in the 1 bomb right. The ones in the middle just went anywhere they wanted. I believe my 1 next turn didn't do anything anyway. So pretty much I'm doing the classic drop pod strategy. I'm just trying to be everywhere. And sure, you have the mobility.
Here's your other Legion Dam coming in.
I did come out that time.
Yeah, both of them came in. That one there was your super. I'm going to be real ballsy here and hope I stick. And go for kind of the big blowout.
And threw on my scatter. So
yeah, and it's stuck. So, right now, though, Legion of Damned seems to basically be the Marines' best counter to Wave Serpents. It forces you to keep your shields up. If you don't keep your shields up, you just lose a Wave Serpent. All that ignores cover and everything. So they're
yeah, the Legion of Damned are real good. Having messed around with them a little more, they're real good. But yeah, no. So that was kind of the plan here going into turn 1.
I had a big misplay with my Warlord, so I thought, okay, I'd be safe. I have Mantle the Laughing God, Turbo Boost across. I wanted to get on the other side of the...
That was your Farseer.
Oh, my Farseer, not my Altark's my Warlord.
Yeah.
Good call. But my Farseer, whose the whole game plan is, okay, I'll summon some stuff, you know, give me a couple extra bodies, maybe to contest your things. So my thought was, get them away from that Centurion. So I went on the other side of the wall, and those Legion of Damned dropped down. Luckily for me, though, you missed with both Meltas and Multi-Melta and Combi Melta.
Yep.
So my reserves come in. I choose to use my Altark to get my Wraith Knight in. I kind of need it here. But I make sure, again, you know, I have to go for kind of a ballsy deep strike. I'm close to the table edge there, but I have to make sure I'm outside the 30 inches.
Yeah.
And you realize this, you kind of bubbled out, and you moved more across the table than chasing my Wave Serpents into the corner like I would have hoped. So it made my deep strike a little bit riskier.
I mean, they're really, like, the Scents really at a 30-inch move are kind of scary. The biggest mistake I made here is having the Scents all in cover when you don't have a lot of AP shooting was kind of a mistake, and I kept having to roll 2 dice to move through cover, and I think on my next 2 turns I roll a 3 and a 3.
Yeah.
So the Scents really got bogged down.
So, I mean, you look at the Wave Serpents there, they're actually on top of the hill. They just wouldn't stand. But we measured out the 30 inches, and right now I'm forced to abandon my side, basically. I leave one Wave Serpent over there to just kind of do its thing. Yeah. Abandon my side, and I have to kind of go away. And now the question is, do I go after your troops or do I go after the Centurions?
Yeah, we kind of traded sides a little bit in this game. Yeah. You kind of go all out, bail, and I'm just going to kind of walk in and take your flank here. So my plan at this point is to kind of jam up. I know you're going to charge me with the Wraith Knight. Just kind of throw a 5-man in one at a time, and let a 5-man just kind of go in and tie you up.
Yeah, because I mean, I will almost never kill a 5-man. I have to roll amazing to kill a 5-man outright
in like a full game turn. And I have 3 5-mans there, and I'm obsec you're not.
Yeah, exactly. So it's basically, you know, I have to shoot, assault, and hope I roll really well to kill a 5-man outright, and then I have to get charged by a 5-man and hope I roll well throughout the course of a game turn. But yeah, no, I mean, it's basically it. You right now, you're just moving the Centurions.
And this was probably the biggest mistake I made here was I barreled those Centurions a little bit down too much in the corner because I wanted to make sure I got your Warlord, which I probably didn't need that extra help. Honestly, I had the Legion of Damned squad there. I kind of committed too much to that corner, and it lets your Wave Serpents just kind of run free along the top.
Yeah, and so basically it gives me an out that I previously didn't have. And that out is my speed. You know, the Centurion's 30 inches cuts off a lot of board really quickly, and if they get centralized, it makes it so that you can't, even with my 30-inch move, I can't really move to get out of range unless I'm in a terrible spot. Yeah. So you kind of gave me that option back to use my mobility, which kind of makes it a little bit closer of a game than frankly, it was shaping up to be.
Yeah, no, that was definitely kind of the mistake. As soon as I made that move, I kind of said, I'm like, I really only need 1 cent. I could have pushed the cents forward and just kind of one guy tail back a little bit so we could see around the corner and split fire in. But yeah, that was definitely kind of a mistake here. So you summoned some pink cars.
And then I promptly lost my Farseer.
Yeah.
And that
he jumped over the corner and got assaulted by Marines and died. And yeah, but you got some pink cars off in the process. So at least that now you just got another troop I have to deal with. So here's where the Wraith Knight comes. Wraith Knight's going to jump in, and now we're in this. We're just going to fight the forever war up there in that corner. Mm-hmm. My Legion of Damned squad there in the middle is kind of trying to slowly make its way over, but at this point they're just making sure they're just gonna make sure those pinks don't do anything. And again, like, because you have the 30-inch move, you have the, you know, because you can sit here and measure, okay, 30-inch effective range of the Centurions, it gives you a lot of room to just kind of hide from me.
Yeah, so, and that's basically all I'm doing. I'm just making sure I stay outside of your maximum 30 inches. So even if you do roll the 6 through cover, I'm not getting shot at because those Centurions will just eat a Wave Serpent a turn. And at this point, I'm so battered, I can't afford to lose Wave Serpents now. So, I mean, it's basically, okay, got to kill all the troops off the objectives. You know, have to try to get you off these objectives. Luckily for me, you've had you've had almost all of your pods scatter off.
Yeah.
So that's literally your bad scatters and bad dice rolls have been what really kept me in the game.
Scatters are the biggest thing. Like that's why like the mass pods are a little bit better because you have more consistency. You remember it's still only a 2/3 chance or a 1/3 chance to actually hit. You know, and you figure you're a big enough base as long as you don't scatter more than 4 inches, you go directly over the objective, you should be fine.
Yeah, and I mean it's like I said, it's basically been that kind of luck, essentially a luck sack for me. I mean, you scattered off the objectives. The las cannons really aren't doing much to me. I mean, I'm to the point where I'm not even jinking the las cannons because if he gets lucky and I only have 3 serpents. I can't afford to jink and snapfire. I need my firepower. So if you get lucky and blow one up, I mean, so be it. If not, you know, I just have to take the chances. So I'm either holding my shields up and taking it, or you know, I'm just letting the dice rolls go. And luckily for me, I think you've only caused 1 hull point altogether with the las cannons.
Yeah, and so the whole thing is now because of you killing off that unit, the Legion Dam have to fall back to that objective to make sure I have it, which means one of my Marines has to come out. One of my Marines comes out and has to fight the pink cars instead of the Legion going after them like I was originally planning. You know, they're Marines going through pink cars. I rolled really well and just kind of took you out here.
Yeah, so but right now my thought process is okay. I am within. We're starting to wrap up the game. I need to be able to keep my mobility sustained. So I have to go after whatever squads are on your objectives up this way. Try to leave myself enough room that if the game were to end on 5, since I have bottom of turn, I could jump out and land on the bottom objective. So right now my maneuvering is keeping me pinned in. Like what I need to be able to do, and it's basically saying, okay, I have to use this hill that is actually a line of sight blocker for these Centurions, and I can't really leave it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're seeing where your 30 inches goes. Your 30 inches gives me a narrow window, basically buys me a turn to squeeze out and shoot.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what's going to happen here. You're going to jump out, you're going to make sure to grab, and you're just going to jump out and try to mass contest on this last turn. Oh, this is on the last turn here, so... and you move up, again, measuring your distance, can't ever say how, you know, that's the most important thing is to keep measuring distance, stuff like that. Know your opponent's maximum threat range and just be outside of it.
Yeah, the best thing that's happened to the game has been pre-measuring. Oh, yeah. And that's going to be a big thing everybody will learn through the games. You'll play against decent players who do okay, and then you'll play against a great player who, even in a bad matchup, ends up beating you because they have every iota measured out. Like, I mean, you're a big fan of doing vectors and all that and figuring out where things like flyers and all are going to land. And if you're good at doing that, you're going to have a huge advantage of playing the game. So, I mean, it basically comes down to this Wraith Knight is locked in this combat. I'm winning the combat.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm just throwing a 5 man. As soon as you break out, it's just another 5 men there waiting for you.
Exactly. You're making sure that I win the combat on my turn, not your turn. You're wrapping the objectives as best as you can.
My 1 Legion guy left trying to hold that objective.
The lone schmo.
But now I got to bring my Marines kind of over, and I tail the 1 Marine back a little bit just so I have the option to try to go towards the Wraith Knight if I need to. But yeah, like now I'm just forced to keep coming to that objective because that objective is in, you know, 1 of 4 objectives. It's important this final turn. I've got the one in the bottom right. Behind the ruin, I have the Legion, and there's also 1 Marine left under there.
Pesky Marine.
I have the Blood Claws and the one in the bottom middle. So I've got both of those pretty well grouped up. Mostly because, again, as we've said, you can't come close enough to me to kill those guys without letting the Centurions be Centurions and kill you.
So I mean, your Centurions kind of move up to threaten the field.
Yeah, they're moving up for late game. They're just going to keep pushing their way across the field at you at this point.
Now they're basically in a position that if the game continues, I really have almost no play. And that was it. That was a really smart recognition of you to do, was to barrel back and basically go, okay, I have let these Cents not play a part of the game that they should have been playing, but if I put them in a position like this, that means if the game goes to 6, if the game goes to 7, there's just nowhere he can hide. There's nothing he can do. I will kill 1 to 2 units. I mean, I have a couple hull points on my guys, so you're reliably killing 2 guys a turn, 2 serpents a turn.
Yeah.
So my only out here is I have to kill the Legion and Dam off the objective because the drop pod is just off. I have to turbo boost everywhere and pray the game ends, but I mean, even then, I don't know that I would. You get that crucial first blood, and then in like a BAO mission, or a mission pack that uses first blood, it is so important. And in BAO, it's worth how much? It's worth 1/10 of your score, right?
Yeah, it's 1 out of 10 points.
So it's just one victory point that I will never be able to obtain or try to get.
And we see here all the measuring we're doing is trying to figure out how much you can contest in this final turn. Now, I have the drop pod on the left is holding that is on that objective.
Yeah.
And I have a Marine unit under there too. So pretty much you're trying to figure out if you jump up and contest the one in the top middle, your OBSEC, the Legion of Damn is not, you'll take that. You jump over, try to kill them off. That's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to go over just to at least contest it. And it's just, unfortunately, you're in a spot where you're playing to hope if it ends on 5, I mean, you're still not going to win the game. It's just trying to play for it. So the game winds up ending here on 5 anyway. I win purely off of secondaries. Three. So I had First Blood, Warlord, Linebreaker. You had Linebreaker and Warlord.
Yeah, it's a big thing to play a battle points mission and try to get as many points as you can, even if you're going to lose.
So remember, guys, if you want to see the list doctor end of it, check out the podcast. Tang2.com is 11th Company Podcast. And keep checking out stuff. If you have some lists for us, 11thCompanyDoctor@gmail.com.